Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to FBTV live stream. I'm Mike. I'm your host. Also, the lead consultant at Taltoa. Matter of fact, Taltoa is the sponsor of our FBTV, Freight Broker TV. You can check out Taltoa, TALTOA.com. We offer training and consulting packages for transportation companies, brokers, broker agents, pretty much the whole gambit of the transportation industry. So if you're interested in that, check us out, Taltoa, TALTOA.com. How you doing on this Wednesday, December 2nd? And man, is it cold here. I know a lot of you are going to say, come on, man, that ain't cold. 39 and wet. You get up in the morning, it's in the 20s, and it's forecast like that. Well, actually, it's going to start warming up, so can't complain too much. By next Wednesday, looks like we're going to be in the 60s, so that's good news for us. But I know a lot of you are saying, come on, man. 39, that's not cold, and I agree with you. It is for here, though. Hey, if you've been checking out the kitchen table, FBTV radio, we have been getting together every morning, broadcasting on FBTV radio at 8 a.m. If you've been tuning in for that, we have moved to a new time slot. The new time slot is going to be 9 a.m. Central Time now on FBTV radio. That's the kitchen table. We get together for about an hour every morning and, solve all the world's problems. It's that simple. You can join me. We talk about we talk about trucking, transportation, but we also get off on a lot of other topics as well. If you missed the original broadcast at 9 a.m., it will be replayed on FBTV radio throughout the day. Also, you can subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app, Freight Broker TV, and we put it up there later in the day as well, so you can have it on demand. Follow us on Twitter, and don't forget to click the subscribe and the like buttons down below. We can build our following, which we'd like to do, but we would appreciate that. Follow us on Twitter as well, at Freight TV. That's our Twitter handle, Tim4. But anyway, follow us on Twitter. If you're an insider, when we do a live broadcast on the FBTV Insider, we send it out, let people know about that. If you're a subscriber to the FBTV Insider, more information on that at FreightTV.com. All right, here we are halfway through the week. A week ago, we were getting the turkey ready. A week later, we're trying to get rid of the turkey that we consumed. A lot of things going on, though. Spot rates, according to DAT, the spot market slowed down for the holiday, but that's normal. Every year, or every holiday, it's going to slow down that week. But for last week, load board activity slowed down with carriers, brokers, and shippers taking time off for Thanksgiving. But they say the freight that did move, prices were at a premium, with rates rising on most high-traffic lanes, so that was good. Spot rates, for the most part, on average so far, down from last month, but that's to be expected too. Van average spot rate 232, flatbed 239, reefer 256, and these are just averages. If you're a broker, you might be a new broker and you're trying to get an idea what the rate is. Well, you don't use this. Just is the average across the board. You should be using some type of a spot rate tool. Any reputable load board will make available to you a spot rate tool. More times than not, it should be included, but I know there are one or two load boards that want you to pay for their spot rate tool. Now, we've talked about spot rates and contract rates in the past. Not to get really into detail with it today, but we'll give you a heads up on it if you're new and you're not familiar with it. A spot rate tool is going to calculate the rate, an average rate per mile, that a broker is paying the truck. Now, the key word in that is the broker is paying the truck. Obviously, the shipper's going to be paying the broker more. So if you're using a spot rate tool, you want to add money to that rate to get it up to what the shipper might be paying. Make sense? Now, there is a second type of a rate tool, and it's known as a contract rate tool. Now, a contract rate tool works like a spot rate tool, only it is calculating the average rate per mile that a shipper is paying the truck. And you may be saying, well, that's the one I need. Well, you'd think that on the surface, but the word contract, it kind of blows that all out of the water. Contract rate, you got to remember, that's when a trucking company is sitting down with their customer, their shipper, and they are hammering out all the details about that contract, how much they're going to charge them per mile to move a load from point A to point B, detention pay, all the accessorial pay that goes along with it. All that's going to be involved in the contract. Now, these contracts are generally for a 12-month period. So, if you're using a contract rate tool, those rates are going to be pretty solid for that 12-month period. So, if there are fluctuations in the market, your contract rate tool will not reflect those fluctuations unless it's fuel. Spot rate tool, it's fluctuating with the market on a day-to-day basis. You know, a couple of years ago, it was about this time 2 years ago, reefer rates went up to over $5 a mile. And if you were using a contract rate tool, you were still going at the $2.50 a mile or whatever it was at the time. So if you have a spot rate tool, use it. Don't be lured into the contract tool scenario. All right, DOT is making preparations ahead of COVID-19 vaccine transport. Kind of hit on this on the radio show this morning, too. What are your thoughts about the COVID-19 vaccine? I'm hearing all kinds of stories about it. One story I've heard that this vaccine is different from any other type of a flu vaccine. And again, this is just things you hear. I don't know. I'm just like you. I don't know what to believe. But I heard one YouTube video, somebody talking about other vaccines are created to where they inject something into you that where your body can build up immunity to that specific virus or whatever it is. And this vaccine's different somehow. I'm not sure on all the details, but it just struck me as weird. And also now this is something I heard on the news that people talking about this. I mean, in government places, doctors and things like that, they are saying, hey, the public needs to be told what's going to happen when they get this vaccine. There are going to be side effects. Well, probably, headaches, body aches, where you got vaccinated, it's going to be sore and you got to go back. And a lot of the medical people, they're afraid that people are going to get that first round and not come back for the second. Now, the next point is that I'm reading and seeing all over the place is that this vaccine, they don't know the possible side effects down the road. Okay, short term, yeah, they know it. And I've even seen them say, yeah, we know the midterm side effects, but I don't know how they would know that because to me, we're still in the short term. But the real kicker is they have no idea about the long-term side effects. What kind of side effects will be down the road, be it a year, 2 years, 5 years. And like I brought up this morning, at the kitchen table, what about 20 years down the road? It just, who knows? Who knows? But anyway, something to be thinking about. And I'm just curious. You can put in the comments below. You can come to our website, send me an email, whatever. Even call our studio line. But are you going to be taking the vaccine? See, I'm thinking about holding off. That's just my personal stupidity, whatever you want to call it. But I kind of like to see what's going to happen down the road before I decide to jump up and say, here, stick me. Let me be your guinea pig. Not going to happen. But anyway, DOT is making preparations ahead of COVID-19 vaccine transport. U.S. Department of Transportation announced yesterday that it has taken regulatory measures to facilitate the safe and rapid transport of the much anticipated COVID-19 vaccine. As the vaccine develops through Operation Warp Speed. They love their operation names, don't they? And that word transparency. I see it everywhere now. We're going to be transparent. We're going to be transparent as possible. Yeah, I saw that on CNN the other day, too, when Biden twisted his ankle walking his dog or whatever it was, and CNN came out bragging about how transparent Joe Biden was about his ankle injury or something like that. I thought, geez, here's your sign, you know. But anyway, as the vaccine develops through Operation Warp Speed, DOT has made preparations to help with its immediate mass shipment. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Operation Warp Speed aims to produce and deliver at least 300 million doses of vaccines. The first supply, they're saying here, should be available by the end of the year, but I'm hearing word that mid-December, people are going to be able to start getting vaccinated. The department has laid the groundwork for the safe transportation of the COVID-19 vaccine and is proud to support this historic endeavor. Spoken like a true politician, huh? That was Elaine Chao. She's a transportation secretary. Matter of fact, it was announced the other day that, what's his name? Spencer from OIDA. Yeah, Todd Spencer. He is threw his hat in the ring with Joe Biden to become the head of the FMCSA. That will be interesting. You can go back and find my podcast from yesterday or the day before and talk about that quite a bit. I'm sure he's a good guy, nothing wrong with him, but I'm not sure that we want somebody at the head of FMCSA that has been part of an organization focused on one specific area of the industry. Anyway, I'm sure there's a lot of trucking companies, a lot of people in the ATA, TIA probably going to stand up and voice their opinion about that. But anyway, neither here nor there. Let's see. According to DOT's announcement, federal transportation agencies and Operation Warp Speed officials have spent the past... Who do you work for? I work for Operation Warp Speed. I don't know. Anyway, they spent the past several weeks coordinating with the private sector companies that will carry vaccines from manufacturing plants to distribution centers and ultimately to you. FMCSA emergency declaration offering hours of service relief. If you're a driver, you're hauling this stuff, well, you are entitled to that exemption, so keep that in mind. All right. What else is happening? Hey, Clem, Pride. If you're a driver for Clem or Pride, I'm talking about KLLM or Pride, you guys are going to get a pay raise. This is happening a lot of places right now. KLLM and Pride going to be raising driver pay. Looks like Pride's going to have 4 cents a mile. That went into effect yesterday. Clem, they announced yesterday, too, that it is rolling out one of the largest driver pay increases in company history. That's going to be coming over the coming weeks. Pride said it's going to increase pay by 4 cents a mile. Drivers can also expect... anyway, they can also expect an additional 4 cents per mile for 2 years as part of Pride's $10,000 sign-on bonus payout. So, that sounds to me like they're paying an extra 4 cents a mile on top of the 4 cents per mile increase. as a bonus. So in 2 years, adios. That 4 cents a mile is gone, but I'm sure in 2 years they'll probably say, hey, keep the 4 cents a mile. You're just not going to get a bump in pay. But that's good. KLLM, when first company I ever drove for was Harold Ives. And the yard up there around Chicago was right next to Harold Ives' yard. And if you're not familiar with Harold Ives, it was the trailer that had the cowboy hat with the lasso. Yippee-ki-yay. They called us Cowboy. Hey, Cowboy. Got it on. But anyway, they had a yard right next to us up there in Chicago. And I used to run into them all the time. Used to go over to that 76 truck stop there, and I forget the name of that town. It wasn't Chicago. Chicago is a town right outside of Chicago. 76 truck stop was there. And I'm sure it's something else now, but it used to drive me nuts. They used to charge us to pull in there and park. And I thought, man, it's not enough we get fuel here, not enough we go inside and eat their food, not enough we paid them for everything else, now we got to pay to park? I don't know. If you're a heavy vehicle use tax evader, be warned. Transportation officials in Kentucky are planning to put federal grant funds to use in catching truckers who failed to pay their heavy vehicle use tax. Looks like they got almost a $400,000 grant. And the way they're going to use that money, this is typical government stuff right here. The way they're going to use that money, $250,000 of the grant is going to go towards funding Kentucky State Police enforcement blitzes at way stations and along secondary roads that truckers might use to avoid way stations. I scratch my head at that. Truckers never go around way stations. I say that tongue-in-cheek. I used to try to go around them all the time. Down here where I'm at, I-40, coming in from Oklahoma, you can get off there on 540, and I think it's 64 over there, exit 64, and go around the way station. You'll come out of Alma, make a left, go back on the interstate. And we used to do it all the time, but we also used to keep our fingers crossed because there was quite often a DOT officer playing around in that area. I did work for a trucking company once that actually put their yard right there on 64, so you had to go down the road. You had to go around the way station to get to the yard, and that was pretty nice because they could never get you for, trying to sneak around the way station. But anyway, getting back to this, $250,000 of the grant's going to go toward the funding of Kentucky State Police for enforcement of the heavy vehicle use tax. In other words, checking to make sure you paid them. The rest of the grant money, which is $150,000, well, $145,000 actually, it's going to go toward a study to make it easier to determine whether motor carriers have paid their taxes. So you know what that means, don't you? Yeah, they're going to put $250,000 of it the way it is meant to be used. The other $145,000, it's $395,000 total. The $145,000, the remainder $145,000, yeah, it's going to go into a study. Sure it is. I'm sure some of those studies have a wallet about that thick. You know what I mean? All right, what else is going on? FBTV Insider. If you haven't checked out FBTV Insider, you should do so. A lot of neat stuff. Matter of fact, if you are thinking about entering the transportation industry as a broker agent, maybe, buying a truck, becoming an owner-operator, whatever, yeah, check out the Insider. If you're not familiar with the transportation industry and you're trying to get more information before you make a decision on what you do in the future, check out the Insider. FBTV Insider. You can register and have access to all of our public content at no charge. And it's got everything that we put up from around the internet, the radio shows, podcasts, broadcasts, our streams, our videos, all that fun stuff. All our public content is available to you. Now, if you want access to the insider content, which includes additional videos and broadcast and audio and stuff like that, yeah, you got to subscribe. You know, it's one of those things where it just helps us pay the bill. $2.99 a month. That's all it is. $2.99. $24.95 a year if you want to go that route as well. So check that out. Hey, FBTV Radio. Not only are we doing FBTV Radio, the kitchen table, every morning, 9 a.m. now, not 8. But at 9 o'clock Central Time at night, FBTV Radio has the Old Time Radio Hour. Radio shows popular before TV. You can hear them. You know, if you're laying there in bed, back in the sleeper or whatever, you want to get the theater of the mind going, tune in. 9 o'clock, FBTV Radio, Old Time Radio Hour, every night of the week, 9 o'clock every day. All right, I guess the elephant in the room is what we've been still started talking about the other day. FMCSA accepting comments on brokers' request to remove transparency regulations. And like I've been saying, this is, hey, I'm all for that. TIA has petitioned the FMCSA to rescind the 1980 regulation where, you know, it depends on who you talk to, is the explanation you're going to get. But this regulation, a lot of people are reading it to state that a broker must be transparent with the rate. In other words, whatever the shipper's paying you, you've got to be transparent and tell the trucking company who your shipper is, who your customer is, and what they're paying you. And that's just so off the wall stupid, it don't even make any sense. And if you don't think it is, and you think, hey, that's fair, no, it really isn't. You know, how would you like your competitor trucking company, if you're a trucking company, come into your offices and demand to see the contracts you have with your customers? You know, what kind of agreements you have with those customers? You say, forget that. That's not right. Well, there you go. I mean, business is business. But the TIA, they're always doing, you know, God bless them. You know, well, they are what they are. But you got to understand, TIA is like the ATA. TIA is for the, you know, well, let's say they're not for the mom and pops, broker firms. You know, they're really for the big boys. And well, you go back to the when the bond was $10,000 and they were trying to get it raised originally to $150. Then they settled on $100. When I say they, I'm talking about TIA along with OOIDA. But the only time these two organizations ever got along and agreed on something was on that aspect of it, on the broker bond. But they finally went up $75,000 with TIA and the OOIDA both had a hand in that. But at the time, if you look, and it may be the same way now, if you would have looked at the TIA board of directors at that time, it was the people that were on the board of directors of the TIA were from the large broker houses. Didn't see too many mom and pop names on there, if you saw any at all. And that's what happened when the bond went up $75,000. A lot of mom and pop brokerages that have been around, you know, since the beginning of time went under. And you can't help but say that's what their intent was, to get that bond increase, so it drive the small broker firms out of business, so the larger broker firms could take over those accounts. But anyway, and like I told my clients back then when all that went through, is to not panic. Insurance companies are going to come up with something affordable so that you can stay in business, and sure enough, they did. But the TIA, along with asking the FMCSA to rescind this, they are also asking for regulatory guidance regarding dispatch services, which TIA says it believes are essentially unlicensed brokers. Yeah. TIA believes FMCSA should publish regulatory guidance explaining that the legal duties of a dispatch service allow them to be an agent for one motor carrier, and that anything further requires a broker license and compliance with the financial responsibility requirements applicable to brokers. Okay, you had me on the transparency, but then you come down here wanting to attack the dispatch services, which makes no sense. Even your membership is not going to be very happy about that, and I'll explain why in a minute. But now I'll be the first one to tell you there are some fly-by-night dispatch services out there. And what I mean by fly-by-night, yeah, they set up with a trucking company, small trucking companies usually. You know, I'm talking about 1, 2, 3 trucks maybe. And a lot of them, agree to a percentage of the gross, whatever, as money is paid on the load, be it 5, 7, 8, 10%. Trucking company thinks, hey, that's a pretty good deal, or the owner of the small trucking company, that's a pretty good deal. Yeah, we can do that because I won't have to worry about it. They can find my loads, keep me rolling, making me money. I can see benefit. But what they don't see is that dispatch service, instead of going out here and getting customers on their own and setting the trucking company up direct with the customer, they're just going to the load board, pulling loads off the load board, calling the broker. Now, that's the way most of them do. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And here's what I don't get about the TIA. These dispatch services are not a competitor to a broker, not a competitor at all. They're an independent business setting up a contract. So if you're going to do away with this, then what about a broker agent? Pretty much the same scenario. A broker agent is one contracted to a brokerage working under their license. Well, these dispatch services, they're contracting to a trucking company working under that trucking company's authority. I do not see the difference. If you get rid of one, you got to get rid of the other. So be careful, TIA. You're stepping into a pool of water that could have a lot of negative consequences for your membership. And the other thing, too, these dispatch services, they're going to the brokers to get loads to put on those trucks. All right. So why are you wanting to do away with them? I see no reason for that except you feel like they're stepping on your toes a little bit, and I don't see that. I don't think your membership will either. But anyway, that's pretty much what's going on. All right. We got a question of the day that we've been doing on the radio. Where did I put it? Well, I guess it don't matter. But anyway, if you got something you'd like to add, you can leave a comment below. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on Twitter as well, at Freight TV. If you'd like to make a comment, question, leave a message, whatever, you can send me an email, FBTV at freightbrokertv.com. We got forums all over the website, Freight Broker TV. And you can even call our studio line, 479-668-0213. All right, it's Wednesday. We're halfway through December 2nd, 2020. 23 days to go to the big one? Hey, a month from now, it'll be 2021. You think it's going to make a difference? I don't either. All right. Go on out there, have a great Wednesday, what's left of it. Unless, of course, you've made other plans. See you later.